Ow! My back hurts! Is it because I've been sitting for too long? So, teenage girls. And now I sound like a creep. Oh! So, when it comes to teenage girls, everybody hates them, right? I'm talking about things like,
Oh, so they're the ones who made this boy band mainstream. What talent do they even have? Look hard?
this attitude hasn't changed in literal decades, to the point where the phrase teenage girl music is now a thing, as if people know exactly what teenage girls are listening to. But I'd like to challenge that. I am a teenage girl, and I honestly have no idea what people my age are listening to right now. So that's my question for the day. What do teenage girls listen to nowadays? And is it good? I'm just realizing that I asked 2 questions instead of 1. But that's not the point! Let's talk about the methodology, the process of how everything's gonna go. So first, let me introduce you to this thing called the Song Recommendation Survey. This is the form that we'll be sending to teenagers as a whole instead of teenage girls, because that would be creepy as heck. This form will basically ask them about their favorite genres, as well as 1 to 3 of their song recommendations. 1 to 3? Oh! So I sent this to teenagers all around and waited for a few days before checking the results. Alright, so we're in the meeting room. I have a cup of water with me, and I think we're ready to take a look at the survey. So this is it. This is the moment of truth. In 3, 2, 1. Whoa, okay. So in first place we have Western pop. Second place we have K-pop. Third place we have indie/alternative. And in fourth place we have rock. And then in fifth place we have yo. So so that means we have R&B/soul, K-R&B/K indie/K K-pop, and classical tied in fifth place. 3 genres tied in fifth place. Looks like we've got a showdown in the midst. That's right, it's a tight race between 3 equally popular genres: classical, R&B/soul, as well as K-R&B/K indie/K hip hop. Oh my god, why is it so long? Who's it gonna be? There's only one way to find out. So yeah, classical. Classical it is. So just to clarify, right, I think classical is a perfectly valid genre to love. I mean, it's called classical for a reason. But you know, when I think about classical, I mean, I guess all's fair in the name of RNG. Unfortunately, classical did not make it into the top 5. As much as people listed classical as one of their favorite genres, the number of songs that were actually submitted to us under R&B/soul exceeded those submitted under classical by a huge margin. Our top 5 genres are now finalized as seen here. And from the pool of submissions we received, we randomly selected 5 songs, with 1 song representing each genre in the top 5. And these 5 songs are here. You know, I'm quite surprised by the last 2 actually. It's nice to know that Snarky Puppy is popular enough among teenage girls to show up among a random sample of responses. Still though, I'm genuinely surprised that classical even had the chance to make it into the top 5. I guess classical will never die. Anyway, these are the songs that will be plonking into our second form, the song rating form. This is the form that we'll be sending to our bandwagon readers under the assumption that they're passionate about music. And for the purposes of this video, they'll be the ones deciding how good these songs are.
Hold it!
Okay, hold that thought for a moment. At this point, you're probably wondering, what makes music good? And what gives you the right to decide what makes music good? And you'd be completely right. Music is highly subjective. There are so many factors that go into what makes a song good in the first place, and a song may not sound good to everybody, right? But more than anything, we wanted to make sure that different people are able to rate the same song in the same way as much as possible. So this is why we decided to standardize the process by coming up with 3 simple criteria: quality, emotion, and catchiness. So keep this in mind while you're watching the rest of the video. So I went ahead and sent this song rating survey out, all the while providing as little context as I am legally allowed to. While waiting, I also interviewed 4 teenage girls about their musical preferences and thoughts about music as a whole. And immediately it occurred to me that, the music that they were listening to was far from limited to mainstream music.
R&B, K-pop,
punk rock,
metal,
pop punk,
Korean hip-hop, jazz,
pop rock, emo rock.
death metal, English pop. Yeah, it's really, really diverse.
I think the reason why I like rock or those new age type of music is because there was a lot of instrument use. So I like the sounds of guitars. I like the sound of raw instruments, which I don't think a lot of songs have now. So if a song has really good instruments, like a guitar riff or a good bass line, I really like that. And if it has a very nice rhythm to it.
I've been trying to stand out more. I went on to a Hosier deep dive, and then I went into his inspirations and listened to Nina Simone one night. It was wow. It was like a game changer, because I usually don't listen to more decades or bluish or jazzy stuff.
When I say mainstream music, right, which artists come to mind for you?
Olivia Rodrigo.
Aside from Olivia Rodrigo, are there other artists that come to mind?
BTS.
Taylor Swift.
BTS.
Really?
Taylor Swift not mainstream.
I think she used to be, but
then why did Evermore top the charts just now? Recently.
I don't know. I feel like if it's mainstream music, I feel like people would probably consider BTS as more mainstream nowadays. Or maybe I'm just judging based on whatever I think is popular among people around me.
Mainstream music itself is evolving with the generations. The previous generation, I guess, would really, state on Billie Eilish. But now it's she's known to be the person who has, redefined mainstream music with her stuff.
Especially when a certain artist gets labeled or label themselves as being mainstream. A lot of times they're just trying to appeal to the general public, so then they just follow the trends instead of creating their own trends. But at the same time, I guess because of that, this trend of people just sticking to something that's safer, a lot of other artists who are, I guess, braver, in this era, they're actually getting more recognized. And I think that's also a good thing. So it's newer people are becoming the mainstream.
Let's go, girls. Okay, and the results from the song rating survey are also in. It is late at night. I cannot open my eyes. So just like any target group, Bandwagon has a demographic of its own, right? And looking at this form, it seems that they're made out of mostly millennials, regardless of gender. So yeah, let's take a look. Let's take a dive right in and see what we got. So apparently, or at the very least among our respondents, indie alternative is more popular than pop. Doesn't that technically mean that indie alternative is the new pop? But that aside, right, the top 5 genres among Bandwagon readers are actually pretty close to those among the teenage girls, right? Yeah, looking at it, it seems to be the case. By the way, my dudes, I asked for genres, not subgenres. So things like lo-fi and bedroom pop, that's going into indie alternative. Just because you don't like the sound of your favorite subgenre being placed in the same category as other subgenres doesn't mean that it's not true. Don't come at me because you know that I'm right. This actually isn't a question that I asked in a survey that I sent to the teenage girls, right? But here, I asked the Bandwagon readers about their least favorite genres because I just want to know. And yeah, looking at the responses, it's pretty predictable, right? Your least favorite genres are J-pop, K-pop, electronic, classical, J-rock. Oh my god. By the way, please don't do Japan and Korea like that. Like, give Asian Kung Fu generation a chance, right? Along with artists like Fujikaze, Vondi, Yoasobi, Day6, Shiny, Dreamcatcher, the list goes on and on and on. I think K-pop and J-pop are much more vast and diverse than what most people outside the community would realize and make it out to be. So I think if you just took a deep dive into, what the music is all about, right? I think you're bound to find some singles, right, that would resonate with you. So don't say that. Don't say that.
So my favorite artist at the moment is BTS. I'm a very big ARMY, as you can see. Besides like their visuals and their performance skills, I think they really stand out because they've somehow cultivated like a very interesting fan to artist relationship. So like you really feel like you're with them on their journey, and like the stuff that we are going through, they sometimes coincide with the stuff in your own life. So then the music really matches up.
I'm a MOA, but not as hardcore as how Elena is an ARMY. Being more open-minded about like my music choices through getting to know TXT actually helped me widen like the spectrum of music that I allowed myself to be exposed to.
And here's the star of the show. How did our readers rate the 5 songs? So what I did was that I averaged all of the scores by criteria and in total. And I'm honestly stoked to find that these scores that I have are surprisingly average. I know that's a low bar, but given the state of everything, I genuinely expected that some people would hate rate like certain songs because of the crowd that it's associated with. I think in particular, I expected artists like Olivia Rodrigo and BTS to get like especially hated on because, of how popular they are within the teenage girl community. But looking at these scores, this is good. Like, especially taking into consideration like how people can be harsh when it comes to the music that they're not predisposed to liking. This is better than what I expected. I guess what's more surprising to me, at least, is that Snarky Puppy actually didn't score higher. I thought they'd be more popular among the older peeps and like the music-loving community in particular. Because, Snarky Puppy is quite critically acclaimed. But I guess it could also be because, artists like Snarky Puppy, Jacob Collier aren't exactly accessible to the mainstream, in a sense that you do need to be familiar with a lot of musical theory in order to, sort of appreciate the kind of boundary pushing music that they're doing. Or at least that's what everyone tells me. Like, I wouldn't know. I'm just vibing. So if you want more details, the scores for all of the 5 songs are here. You can pause this video and take a good look at them before we transition into the final review. Wow, imagine learning this much about your own demographic. But I guess that just goes to show how, the teenage girl community just isn't homogenous, right? And which is why I find the term teenage girl music kind of confusing a lot of the time. And I guess I could see how this phrase could be used to criticize certain songs for sounding insincere and inauthentic because they're primarily made for profit. But I don't know, man. I think you can make the exact same criticism just as clearly, just as pointedly, without having to bring down an entire community.
And it's so painful to hear someone say that to you. Like, I don't know why. It's like a coming of age like insult, right? You like wear a shirt that's like trending and you're like, oh my god, you're so basic, you're a basic bee.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh!
Yeah.
I go home and cry.
I think I see where those claims come from, especially like insincere, but like okay, like you can dance to it or whatever, so what does it matter? Just find your own music that you like vibe with. Nobody's asking you to listen to pop music.
I'm not denying that mainstream music doesn't pander to the likes of teenage girls, right? Because that is real. The teenage girl community is extremely profitable, and it shows. But what I am saying is that doesn't make mainstream music necessarily bad. I think what people don't realize about enjoying mainstream music is that you can do that while still being critical of it. Plus, you're gonna have so much fun talking about the music you love with so many people who can relate to your taste.
Evermore and folklore like deviates a bit more to like a mood kind of like when you're in a certain mood, not like mainstream like pop like 1989 was. It's a hit or miss sometimes nowadays for Taylor Swift with me.
It's more forgettable than like in comparison to her other tracks, like her older tracks, which I still listen to. I think Enchanted's my favorite Taylor Swift song.
I used to be obsessed with Pentatonix, an a cappella group. I fell in love with one song of theirs for Christmas. When it all comes together, it was really nice. Yeah, I just loved it for a few months in secondary school.
Was the song Silent Night, by the way?
I think so.
Yeah. Oh my god, I was obsessed with it too. I was like, oh, Silent Night, like every day for Christmas.
Yes, it was. Okay, yeah, it was. Oh my god, yeah.
Oh my god, same.
Because all the artists that I stand on, nobody likes them, you know. Like, I also dream, you know, like one day I walk down the streets and then like I belong to a very, very large fandom that has like a population of people greater than the population of Hawaii. If people call my taste like mainstream or like basic, then it just shows that the person that I'm standing is like super duper popular, and I want that to happen. Please make it happen. Yes, it's a good thing actually.
In the end, right, like what you like, so long as you like it because you like it. But you should never, ever put down other people's music taste in favor of your own. Songs are only going to be able to resonate with some people rather than every single living person on the planet. And if those people happen to be teenage girls, so be it, you know? Let them listen to what they want to listen. Let me listen to what I want to listen. I want to listen to some Big Time Rush right now, and I am going to do it at this instant. Goodbye. Ow! Oh my god, my back. It's pretty good. It's better than I expected. I keep saying this because what sort of expectations did I have? How low must my expectations be if I'm like pretty stoked about this?